An awesome start to the tournament. A bit of a slugfest. We started out by saying the Godfathers were going to take it. Then it switched around. What happened?
I think it's safe to say mistakes were made.
Yes.
By the Kadeshi team, I think, on what they shot first. Unfortunately, they didn't, for some reason, go for those bombers, which, as we saw, went down very fast, even with that Guardian on the field.
So Kadeshi went for the Hugin first.
Yeah. This is a little bit strange, looking at least on the match, both of them were pretty much right next to each other. Even the Cyclone didn't run away when it got shot. So it's a little bit strange decision, of course. We didn't see the fittings and whatnot, what was going on in there. But I would have thought that it would have been a good idea to get the DPS out quickly.
Yeah, you would have thought so. So we saw the first bomber set of the tournament. For people that maybe aren't entirely aware, so what do these ships do? Why would you take them into a team?
The bombers are very high DPS, and they're only a couple points. So if you bring a bomber-heavy team, typically you have a lot of like early DPS, but those bombers can die so fast that if the other team has good anti-support and they drop those bombers, like your DPS falls off so fast, the team can come to a screeching halt real quick. It's kind of a dicey way to play a team, I think. But I like those teams because I like high damage teams. I think when you see the more shield tanking teams, it's a slow match. It's kind of boring. I don't like to watch them. So I do like to see the bomber heavy setups.
And when you see them, do you just go straight for the bombers usually?
Well, it depends. Sometimes. Maybe the reason they didn't go for the bombers is that they were kiting damping setups and maybe they just ran away. We didn't see the distances that they warped in and so on and so forth. So maybe they were keeping their rooks dampened down and they weren't getting as many jams in there as they hoped, and that's why they needed to get up close and personal and took that Hugin out first.
And it looks like a draw right now, but we don't actually know until we have the points value of the setup, because you're scored after how much you bring as well, as far as I remember. So if any of the teams had a few points they didn't lose, they might actually turn out to be the winner. But pretty good slugfest to begin with.
Sure was. I spent a lot of time with that Guardian, and we saw the armor repair bots on it, just keeping it alive. It may have been a strange decision when there were still bombers on the field to go for the Guardian at that stage. Maybe if they'd have taken those other bombers out first, it could have changed the way the match went for the Kadeshi. But it was a great first game, and well done to both teams.
Yeah, lots of ships blew up, and I like lots of ships blowing up.
There's pretty much like, this is the most ships that really can blow up without finding a winner. we're down to one each.
So either we were all wrong or we were all right.
We're all
our
right.
predictions. I'm going to go with right.
I'm going to go with
I think I tweeted during the game that my prediction was right. And then
now you're
turns out,
kind of ambiguous.
I consulted the bike, and the bike says we were all right.
The bike says we're right. Yeah. They went for the Guardian. That didn't work, and then they switched back to stealth bombers. Was that just a good, we can't break its tank, so let's do something more constructive, or was it, should they have stayed on the Guardian?
That's a very interesting question. I mean, once again, we didn't see the ranges. Maybe the Guardian got out of range, and at that stage, maybe the other Hugin was dead already. So
They had the Guardian below half armor, so it's not like they weren't doing any damage to it. They did beat it up quite a bit, and then suddenly it stopped taking any damage at all. And it was kind of hard to see from, at least our perspective, what the ranges were there. I couldn't figure out why they switched off it.
The first thing that the Godfathers went for on the Kadeshi teams was the Rooks. So the Rooks are an EW ship. What exactly do they do for this team? They had two of them.
Well, obviously they were doing two important things. They were jamming the logistic ship, the Guardian on the other ship, as well as probably the Macarial. So most of their damage, as well as their reps, were gone. So they were pretty much had a free field, free fire on anything that they wanted to kill.
Yeah, and once those drop, are they so important that the team kind of starts falling apart, or is it? Can you lose those two ships?
You can lose them, yes. That wasn't an ECM specific team, at least it looked to me. They only had those Rooks. Sometimes if you're fielding a pure ECM team like we did last year, I think, if you lose any ship in that team, as Seamus says it's game over.
All right.
But in this case, I think they were more of a speed bump.
ECM is a damage mitigator. It's not the DPS of your team. So even if you lose your ECM, you can still kill the enemy team. And a lot of times what you'll see is the ECM dies and then your team just starts taking way more damage. But it didn't seem to happen this time. The Rooks died and ships still didn't die any faster.
I think the power shift kind of came like to start off. The Godfathers looked like they kind of had this. The rooks were going down, the rooks went down, and then the power kind of shifted. It wasn't like the all-out route that just continued, which well, I mean, was good for entertainment at least.
Yeah.
So we have Get Off My Lawn and Why Dot, Wildly Inappropriate, coming up. I think we also have the team graphics coming up on screen in just a minute. So the first one, let's just say we all won. We all predicted that one.
I like it.
Next one, I have Wildly Inappropriate. How about you, Sastro?
I like Why Dot on this one.
I went with Why Dot as well, though Get Off My Lawn has a lot more on the line in this particular match. They made a bet, the two of the Alliance leaders, Peter and Tomcat made a bet actually on naming their home stations, and if Get Off My Lawn loses, they have to go and fly around Eve saying in local, Why Dot are good posters, which, well,
Complete lie.
those of us who know who Why Dot are, well, yeah, okay. So I hope Get Off My Lawn wins, but I picked Wildly Appropriate.
Well, for the sake of good posting in Eve, I'm really going to go for Get Off My Lawn in this one.
Get Off My Lawn. It's also one of the really good Alliance names. There's quite a lot of good Alliance names this time around.
Bacon Fortress.
Bacon
Best
Fortress
Alliance
Gaming
name.
Syndicate.
And Wild Boars.
And Wild Boars.
Who are in the last match today, so.
Lack of imagination is also very, very good if you're making an alliance. So that's coming up here. We're a little bit delayed. The match should have started 5 minutes ago, but
Did they bring 11?
no. But Godfathers did, so they.
I think
kind
we
of
should
pushed
turn
us
it up
back.
to 11.
We should just have 11 people in.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to
makes it more fun.
make it easier. Well, that's going to be really, really good. So we have 2 days worth of fighting now, and then we have 2 days of fighting next weekend for the big finals. In terms of the investment that some of these teams do, of course, it's 2 weekends, and there's a lot of practice. How much money do you guys usually throw into the tournament teams?
We throw about 2 billion ISK to the CCP Engineering Alliance.
All right. Yeah. Okay. That is, by the way, that was the wrong alliance to send the money to, wasn't it?
Well, I have heard of the plight of the CCP Engineering Alliance. They are all poor, starving engineers kept in basements and engineering away for CCP. So I don't think it was a bad investment. They need our help and our support.
And you guys are actually actively supporting them.
Yes, we are actively supporting them. I continue to do everything I can for them. And if anyone wants to make donations to the CCP Engineering Alliance, you can send it care of Zastro, and I'll make sure it gets to where it needs to be.
How about you guys? Once you've sent the money to the right people,
Yeah, we are kind of stupid in this regard. I think we spent 60 billion on 3 sips alone on this tournament. I think our budget is somewhere between 100 and 200 billion for most tournaments. So yeah.
So if you win, you'll break even.
Pretty much, yeah.
depending on how much you lose as well.
Which could be a lot. I hope you lose a lot.
I hope
Personally.
so too.
So 100 to 200 billion.
I could be totally wrong. It could be somewhere way above that.
It's a
Seamus
great
is a
number,
little
though.
bit, yeah.
But I mean, it is for some alliances at least expensive. For some alliances, probably don't spend as much. But I guess this is where some of the big alliances, like you guys, who have a big source of income, probably can do it more than Circle of Two, who are like a group of guys, basically.
It doesn't necessarily mean your team's any stronger, though. I believe we saw a whole lot of Freckies exploding last year, and hundreds of billion of ISK just explode in one match, and they lost.
I think that was Circle of Two as well.
Yeah.
Actually. Yeah. So and I mean, and we saw they posted a video, so they're not like a massive big thing, but they have like 10 guys who meet at a PC cafe in Serbia and basically do the tournament from there. And yeah, and they field all the tournament prizes, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we should be seeing them as well tomorrow. Some of the groups we have some really, really strong groups. Let's just see if we can't get a view of the tournament groups. You guys can't see them just now. We'll have them up on screen shortly. But one of the groups that people talk about is Group D, which is Group D for death, I assume, because that's a really tough one. It's Hydra Reloaded, second place from last year. Pandemic Legion, winners last year. Unaffiliated, who are traditionally a good team. Ushura Khan as well. This group and all the other ones, hopefully we can get them on screen and talk to them a little bit, but I was just told that the match is about to start, so let's push that into what happens after this match. Get Off My Lawn, Wildly Inappropriate. Wildly Inappropriate?
Well, inappropriate.
Yep.
Get off my lawn.
Get off your lawn.
Get off my lawn.
Okay, let's see.